Okay, so this is another map, or a chart, I guess, of all the United States, and then we'll look state by state. And so here we are on, what is today, the 27th? Today's the 28th, so we probably have data as of the 27th. And it shows the number of, this is hospital beds, and it's predicting that we could have a shortage of hospital beds across the whole country of about 50,000 hospital beds, and intensive care beds by almost 15,000 shortage, which is pretty scary. And then here's the number of predicted deaths per day, and we're up to, so yesterday was the 27th, so it was predicting about 350 deaths yesterday. I don't know how many there were. I don't know how up to date this is. But let's take a look at the three states we were following. Okay. So let's find Florida.
Okay.
Okay, so Florida has, where the flu was really declining. So
let's see, it looks like there's actually not going to be any shortage predicted.
Okay, so this model actually predicts Florida will not have any bed shortages or intensive care bed shortages. So that's good news for Florida, although what's the problem with these models?
We don't know.
We don't know for sure, but at least how things are going in Florida right now, this model is saying, at least Florida right now looks like they're doing a good job keeping this down. All right. So let's take a look at New York. All right. So what are they saying for New York?
Looks like there is going to be a significant shortage in New York.
Right, almost 35,000 bed shortage in New York, and
that's most of the
almost 7,000. Yeah, that was 50,000 for the whole country, right?
Mm-hmm.
Although I guess we do have to be a little careful about that, because if some states are underneath and some states are above, they might be not sure how they're doing that. So better to just, instead of trying to compare it to the whole country, we'll just say here for New York, it looks like they could potentially be facing some pretty serious problems, and 7,000 intensive care bed shortage as well. And the deaths per day. So it's still saying that we're 10 days away from things peaking, which is still pretty scary, right?
Yeah.
So beginning of April. So right now they're predicting sort of 150 deaths in New York around now. And all right, you ready to see Massachusetts?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Okay, so predicting for Massachusetts, some 5,000 hospital bed shortages and 1,200 or 1,300 bed shortages. So what are we seeing here?
Well, it looks like there is a shortage. There's predicted to be a shortage, but it's not as significant as New York, probably because the population is less.
What's this kind of highlighted purple big thing?
Yeah, that's a very, very good question. So you can see, so this is for March 23rd. Let's go up to March 27th. Those are the hospital beds needed. I'll tell you what, let's go down. We can see the numbers a little better in the deaths. March 27th, you can see it's predicting between 4 and 15 deaths.
So that's the upper limit, is the red thing?
Upper and lower.
So whenever you're making kind of predictions, you want to sort of, instead of predicting a specific amount, this is their sort of best guess, this dotted line, but it does have error bars around it. So there's the high end and there's the low end.
Yeah.
And that's what we've talked about previously with these models, is there's a lot of variation based on assumptions in the models and based on how the world evolves. If I remember correctly, there were 10 deaths yesterday on the 27th in Massachusetts. So their estimate of between 4 and 15 turned out to be right, but that's a huge range.
Especially once you get up to this peak.
That's exactly right. So here they're predicting in mid-April between 19 deaths per day and 300 deaths per day.
Yeah.
So yeah, no one really knows what's going to happen
No one knows, but you have to plan
for the worst one.
for the worst one. Because if things go really well, but it also sort of emphasizes that you need to stay in your house, you need to do all the social distancing, you can't interact with people, you need to do everything you can as an individual to push these numbers down and not spread this virus.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. I wanted you to see all the different work that people are doing and trying to show where things are going to get bad and why we don't see this on the flu maps. And you can kind of see it here too for Massachusetts. There were, it's still, the numbers are still very small as a percent of the population. So if you look at the broad flu map, you think, well, things are getting better. But in reality, you're facing a situation where you're going to run out of hospital beds. So it's all about making sure you understand how to track things and which models to look at.
Yeah.
All right. Good job, guys.